Hey everybody, welcome back to this third installment of the Getting Started with ProcessWire series that's slowly coming about. In this particular video, I was thinking of showing you how I'm going to start working with the installer files and actually creating an instance of ProcessWire. But before I do that, I thought to myself, perhaps it's better to sort of just give a high-level view of what's going on. So what I've done is I've created two browser windows with some pages on them that sort of show a bit what we're trying to achieve with our initial ProcessWire installation, and also just to sort of talk a tiny bit more about some of the tools that you saw earlier on in the second video. So if I pull up this first browser window, what you're looking at here is obviously the home page of the ProcessWire website. And smack in the middle, this sort of blackish tab over here, it says download. So that's what I did. I clicked on it and I downloaded the ProcessWire installation file. So if I minimize the browser window, this is this guy here. That's what was downloaded from the ProcessWire website. I think this is version 2.3.0 as of this recording. Okay. Now, if you were to install that, you can install it on its own. It's great, no problems. But recently, say about a couple of weeks ago, the creator of ProcessWire, Ryan Kramer, he came up with an additional template that slots into our ProcessWire installation. And it's really quite a fabulous solution that Ryan has embedded into ProcessWire. Now, this solution, if you like, is looking at how can we display our website very effectively on mobile devices. Now, the way the world is going, people are really using their desktops less and less, and using tablets more and more, and smartphones more and more. And so there is sort of two schools of approach. You could sort of build your website for the desktop and enable it to sort of reformat itself slightly as the device that's viewing it gets smaller. But in the case of this solution that we're talking about, which it's named Foundation. It's called the Foundation Framework, and it is created by a group of guys called Zerb. Okay, if I bounce over to this tab over here, inside the ProcessWire website, there is this page here in the themes and profile section that says Zerb Foundation for Site Profile. So you can download this particular profile, and if I just minimize the desktop, this is what this guy here is. So now you know what these two files are for. So going back to the browser, if I was to install ProcessWire along with this Foundation for Site Profile, this is what the website will look like. And there's a live running version of it inside the ProcessWire website, and the URL is processwire.com/foundation. So basically what you're looking at here is what we are trying to do. We're trying to take the ProcessWire files, the Foundation profile files, merge the two together, and upload it to a server, and this is what we're targeting to do. Now, the question now is, what is this Foundation thing? Why do we want to use Foundation? Because the standard ProcessWire installer has its own system in there. So let's just go to the Foundation website, and this is what this one here says. Look at their tagline: the most advanced, responsive front-end framework in the world. Now, in your own time, you could go over there and you could read whatever you'd like to read about it. But if you have a look at two of their clients of the Zerb group, one of them is Pixar and the other one is National Geographic. Now these are really big names, and obviously they must have some faith in Zerb and what they do. And I would like to highlight to you here two really standout features for me of the Zerb Foundation framework. So if I go to this page here, this is the documentation section inside of the Foundation website. And I'm going to go to another tab. Well, basically, if you just go to the docs section, you scroll down there, there's something called Orbit. So I've opened up another tab on this Orbit. Now, this Orbit is basically an image slider. You can see here that it would slide images on its own. But the important part is this: if you are viewing it on a mobile device, it enables swipe gestures. Now, this is quite an important thing, because as a result of everyone using Facebook, this, shall we say, people nowadays expect, if you have an image, that you can swipe it. So the great thing is, if you adopt this Foundation framework, you have a very good chance of, or a very high level of confidence that it is going to enable image swiping on an extremely large number of mobile devices. Now, the other thing which I think is very important is, I've opened up another tab here, is this top bar, or the navigation. Now, this is extremely important, because if people can't find your content, they can't navigate to it, your website's at a really big disadvantage. So if you look here, if I start hovering on all these items here, you know, it goes down to 4 levels deep. Now, I showed you earlier what happens if you collapse the window on the Foundation's menu bar, like so. Let me just go through it again, just to sort of show you. If I start collapsing this, right, eventually you'll get to this point here where the menu sort of has this facility where you click on it and you get this side appearing menu. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, in the case of Ryan's implementation, if we look here and we sort of go this way, you notice that the menu is the 3 lines on the right hand side this time, but if we click it, you get this drop down menu. Now this is what's really cool. If we go to the About part and we click on that, can you see how the menu swiped to the side by itself? And we can sort of go back again. So it's really fabulous navigation system. So it's a combination of the Orbit image slider and this nav bar system that they have, that to me is the 2 compelling features that make me want to adopt this Foundation profile with all the websites that I build. Okay, so now you have some idea why we're going with the Foundation profile. Now, just said earlier on that I'd sort of just wanted to show you a bit about the tools that we'd be using. So, going through them, one of them is CyberDuck. So what this guy does is, it is a FTP program, file transfer program. So basically, when we have files on our computer, we obviously want to have a website and we want to show the content to the world. So what I did was, just go to another tab here. Just want to show you this. I did a Google image search for local and remote server. So in the middle here, these 2 images are sort of the ones that are of interest to us. So basically, this one here, it's not an exact image to show exactly what I want to show you, but basically you can see here the United States. You can see computers all around the country, and they sort of have arrows going to a central computer. So if you like, your web host is that central computer, and when people want to view your website, basically they connect to that central web host. Now, if we have a look at this next illustration here, you see this local and remote. So the idea is that your own computer that you build the website on, which we are going to do, is considered the local machine. And after we have built the website, what we're going to do is we're going to take the files that we built it with, and we are going to upload it to the remote host, which is this guy over here. But if we sort of look at our map of the United States here, we'd be uploading it from our local machine here to this guy over here. So this is what CyberDuck does. Now, CyberDuck is one possible FTP program that you might use. There's another one called FileZilla. So both of these are very popular. The difference is that in the case of CyberDuck, you tend to see one set of files at a time. You sort of see what's on your remote host. In the case of FileZilla, you have a left and right window, so you sort of see what's on the local machine and you see what's on the remote machine. So either one of these will work. The most important part to me is this guy here. So MAMP and MAMP Pro. So basically MAMP is free. MAMP Pro is a version of MAMP that has some extra features that makes it more easy to use, but you have to pay for that. And so this is one program I highly recommend you buy, which is MAMP Pro. It's what you would call sort of a local development server. We'll get to this later. Now, another thing we need is a text editor. Now, Komodo Edit, to me, is a beautiful text editor. It's got a really nice interface. And there's another good thing about it, and that is it is what I would call cross-platform. There's a Windows version and there is a Mac version. So you're going to use a text editor to be editing your files that you build your website with. So it's one of those tools that you use all the time. And the fact that there is a version available for both platforms means that if you're in a situation where you work on multiple computers, well, it's good to know that you can work with the same program on both of them, and you don't have this difficulty of having to deal with, different programs. Now, this is one text editor that I really like. There's another one that I use once in a while for very specific tasks. We'll get to this later, but Text Wrangler is another text editor. Now, the last thing we're going to need is a browser, and I have a liking towards Firefox, so this is what I'll be using. So my apologies if this video dragged on for quite a bit, but I think it's sort of important that we have that high-level view of what's going on. So now you guys know that there is the standard ProcessWire installer. There's something you can tag onto it or merge with it that will enable your resultant ProcessWire website to run alongside this foundation framework. And you've seen the tools that we're going to use to build this website. So now that we have this covered, we can start working with those files. So thank you very much for watching.